Hello.
Hello, and welcome to my channel. I'm Jane Gray. This is Hope in Paris, which has been described as like a box of chocolate. You never know what you're going to get next. And I'm here with my friend Sophie, who lives in the UK, with her pet snake, who is named Jake. And Sophie is the only person I know who actually lives with a snake, who has a snake as a pet. And I'm both terrified and fascinated, despite the fact how relaxed Jake looks right now. So, Sophie's going to tell us all about snakes, what, especially Jake, what it's like to live with them and what he eats and things like that. I'm going to ask a few questions. And I think I'm going to start in reverse. Well, I'm going to start with the last question first, which is Sophie, thank you so much for being here. I'm thrilled to have you.
No problem. Thank you for having us.
Truly my pleasure. Thank you. So first, what would you like us to know about snakes?
Well, there are a few things to know about snakes. They don't mean to do, people are really scared of them, but they don't really mean to do any harm. They're just really chill animals. They skin shed to make them grow and have beautiful skin and also heal from wounds. They don't have any eyelids, so they don't blink. So they sleep with their eyes open. And
Wow.
they live, and this particular boy will live about 20 to 30 years. That's his lifespan. So yeah, they're just fascinating, beautiful creatures. They're very important for the environment and the ecosystem because they eat all the mice and keep our environment clean. And yeah, they don't mean to do any harm. You just need to let them be a respect them for being beautiful, I think. Yeah.
Okay.
You can see Jackie's little face. He's fascinated, by the way, with the screen, so he likes the screens a lot.
Oh,
So yeah, he likes the screen a lot. Yeah.
that's interesting.
Yeah.
Hi,
Yeah.
Jake. Well, he's very beautiful, and
Yeah.
I totally believe you that he doesn't mean to do, or the snakes don't really mean to do us any harm.
No.
Uh, I always thought pythons were particularly dangerous, and he's a python, isn't he?
So he's actually a royal ball python. Ball because instead of attacking, they go into a ball to protect themselves. That's what they call ball. And he's called royal because in Africa and also Cleopatra used to wear them as jewelry. So they like to sit on your neck where it's warm and on your hand. So they used to have them as jewelers. And because Cleopatra wore them like this, so that's why he got the name. So he's a royal ball python.
Ah, well, that's interesting.
Mm.
So they like to be around your neck or on your head, and
On your hands.
because
Yeah,
of the
yes,
warmth.
because of the warmth. Yeah, they're cold-blooded animals, so they like the warmth. Yeah,
Ah.
yeah.
And I had read in the past that snakes don't have eyelids. So how do you know when he's asleep?
Well, he's usually curled up on his little stones. So this geranium is right next to me, so that's where usually he goes in, and he goes under this. And he's asleep. Otherwise, like now, he just walks around. So yeah, they go under this stone and they get all snuggled up and rest. And also they spend a lot of time there for when the skin shedding as well. So he's going behind the chair. You can see
That's
he's
cool.
very he's very he's very. I think he's just a very clever boy. He likes things, so he likes to always explore. So yeah.
Well, he really is beautiful, and his markings are
Mm,
beautiful.
yeah.
And you said he has to shed skin in order to grow. So is he
Yeah.
growing for his whole life? Do they continue to grow their whole life?
He's about 1 meter now, and I think that's the biggest they go for a boy. The female get a little bit bigger, but yeah, he was really tiny. So when he came to me, he's a rescue, and during the pandemic, so a lot of people got rid of the pets. It was really sad. So he came from that kind of environment. So when he came to me, he was about 1 year old. He was really small, could fit him on palm of my hand. Now I cannot fit him anymore. So yeah, the skin shed every 4 to 6 weeks. And it's a kind of stressful period for them because they at this period they go blind, so their eyes go blue, and they don't eat. And you have to make sure they have quite high humidity in the tank for them to remove the skin, and that's how they grow, and also how they heal from the wounds and anything else. So their skin is actually made from the same material as our nails is made. and it keeps them very protective as well, because it's kind of like that hard material, so it keeps them protected from everything else around them. Yeah.
That's fascinating. And what does his skin feel like to touch?
It just feels cold, cold and very shiny. There is nothing really. People think they're slippery, they're slimy, but it's not. It just feels really cold and like a little bit of how you have feel on your fingernails. It's a little bit colder. Yeah.
Right. And what does he eat when they're as a pet? What do you feed him?
So he eats once a week, and he eats
Oh,
frozen mice or rats that you have to defrost. Over time, I had to get bigger mice and rats for him. So we started with 10 grams. Now he eats
wait. Frozen mice?
or rats, yes.
Wow. And do you thaw them? Do you chop them up?
I have to
Make
go
a
to a pet
smoothie?
shop. They have a freezer on the pet shop where they sell them there. And you can buy them at any size. It's fascinating how many sizes you get. So when he was younger, he would eat the tiny of them. They call them pinkies. And now he eats, I actually got an example of a fake mouse here. So he eats that, which is about 30 grams. It's actually Tilly's toy. And you feed them that, and he eats once a week. So there are two ways to feed them. You hold them with the tweezers above that, and he kind of grabs it and eats it as a whole. So they don't swallow the whole animal. Or I hate that method personally. So I taught him how to eat on his own. So I put the mouse that after I defrost it needs to be defrosted. And defrost the mouse. I put him in the terrarium on a high place, and then he goes and eats it on his own without me using the tweezers. So yeah, and he eats once a week. Hey, Jakey. You can still sit behind his in the chair.
Well, I think it's great that you can actually purchase frozen mice, because it would be I think kind of a bother to have to go catch your own mice or expect him to
Yes,
catch mice.
yeah. These mice that they sell for reptiles, they are bred for that purpose, so they have to be really healthy. In
Right.
fact, when I first got him, I had to return some of the mice because they had. So I went to Pets at Home and I bought loads of frozen mice. I have a section in the freezer for him, and then I got a note. I need to throw away all the mice because there was a salmonella in one of them.
Mm.
So I had to return my frozen mice, get some different ones for him. So they're very like heavily regulated, that they have to have clean disease. I think they gas them, that's how they kill them. But there are also people who have snakes and they give them live mice. But I could never do that. To put a live mice in the terrarium with a snake is not fair, and then they can still injure. They will attack the snake, and then it's not really fair on any of them. So
Right.
but yeah, that's what he is.
That's amazing. How much does he weigh? Do you know?
And he's about 1 kilo, 1.2, yeah, just over 1 kilo. Yeah, they grow up to 1.5 kilos, so it will not grow any more bigger.
Right.
And he passes away. Yeah.
And I think you said he's a meter long.
Yeah, he's a meter long. Yeah, yeah. You can tell like he's climbing. I mean, you can never really tell how long he is because he's always curled up. Yeah, he's about 1 meter. He was really small when I got him. We just got a little bit bigger.
So
Yeah.
you said when he eats, the one way to feed him the mouse is to like dangle it from tweezers, right? So he
Yeah.
can just
Yeah. So he just snaps it.
so
Yeah.
right. So I happen to know you live with a small bird, I think a cockatiel who only
Yeah.
weighs
Cold patchy. Yeah. Yeah.
Patchy, who weighs 70 grams. Did you say
Yes. Yeah. She does. Yeah.
That's tiny. That's a tiny bird.
Yeah.
And you've got a blind cat.
Yes. Tilly. Yeah.
And both of those tell me that they're very vulnerable. They could be vulnerable to snakes. Does he bother them? Does he?
No. No. They
Doesn't.
don't bother. Tilly's sitting now in the other side of the room, Patch in the other room, but they don't. There's no interaction with them whatsoever. And he doesn't bother. He only eats mice, and he doesn't care about the other animals or anyone else or even me. He doesn't bite. He will not attack anything. So yeah, so he doesn't. He just eats his food. That's all, really. And he sleeps most of the day. So they're active in the night. So most of the day he just sleeps
I can't
around
hear you.
him.
When you turn your head, I
Sorry,
can't hear you.
sorry.
Thank you.
Where he sleeps most of the time, so he sleeps during the day and he's active during the night. But yeah, in regards to the other pets, there is no problem whatsoever. They're fine.
So you don't worry about that at all.
No, he's in his terrarium all day, and which is really safe. He can never go out. Yeah, he would never attack any other animal because he will not eat birds to begin with, and also
Okay.
he yeah, and he only eats mice. So yeah, he will not be
Okay.
attacking
Yeah.
Patchy. Yeah.
So he's only interested in small rodents to eat.
Hmm.
Got it.
Exactly.
That
Yeah.
makes that
Yeah.
makes
Yeah.
sense.
Yeah.
Um, and so you said you got him during the pandemic at a
Yeah.
he's a rescue snake. So are so but so what happened to for you to meet? I mean, like where was he? Who rescued him? Where was he? Was he at a rescue center, a wildlife rescue center?
Yeah, yeah. What happened was during the pandemic, a lot of people abandoned their pets, which is really sad. And snakes was one of them, one of the animals that were abandoned, and they were found everywhere in people's gardens, in Hyde Park in London. So there's a friend of mine who does animal rescue, and she specializes in reptiles, and she ended up with him. And yeah, so I'd never had a snake before in my life. And literally what happened was, here's a snake, here's a terrarium. So they ended up with so many and they had no homes for them to go to. And so yeah, so I had to learn everything about having a python on my own. And yeah, that's why he came to me. And that was 3 years ago. He just turned 4, Jakey. So he's 4 years old now. These
I
guys
can't hear
live.
you.
Sorry.
It's all right.
Okay.
When you look
Yeah.
at him,
Oh,
you're off
sorry. I'll come close. Yeah.
it's all
Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
I saw he was moving, behind you, and that makes me want to ask you: does he ever can he climb the walls? Can he get up high? Do you ever find him?
Yeah, he can go literally, he can go pretty much everywhere, but I just don't let him because I don't want him getting stuck. And then I have no idea how I'm going to get him out. But yeah,
Right.
anything he can go, yeah, he will go. And there are cases of people that lost their snakes because they can crawl through any space. So I would be really stressed if he climbs out of the window or goes behind the radiator or up in the fridge. So yeah, so I always have to keep my eyes on him at all times. But yeah, he can climb everywhere.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Has he ever climbed into your bed?
No, no, the terrarium is really safe, is really heavy, and he cannot open it. So no, he never actually escaped from the terrarium.
So he spends most of his time in the terrarium.
Yes, yeah, yeah. And he sleeps most of the day. Yeah. So these guys are bred in captivity, so they got used to living in terrariums. They got used to being handled. The terrarium is split into two. It has the heat area and the more humid area as well. The two areas of it, and he spends most of his time there. And it's quite big for him to stretch all his length. You should never keep them in a space where they cannot fully stretch the body. And yeah, but he spends pretty much all his day in the terrarium. But as I said, he sleeps most of the time. So yeah. It's very handsome, right?
He is, and you wear him so elegantly. I mean, it's
He's a
fun to
very good
see.
boy.
It's fun to
Yeah,
see. He looks
yeah,
totally relaxed.
yeah, yeah.
Does
He's a very handsome boy. Yeah, and very chill. Yeah.
does he have an odor? Does he
No,
smell?
he doesn't smell. Nothing smells. His poo doesn't smell. He doesn't smell. Not there's no smell on him whatsoever.
And I have to ask this: what about poop? Does he poop in a terrarium?
He poops in his terrarium, and you just do spot cleaning. And the poo looks like kind of, I try to describe to people like goat's poo, like the tiny dark thing, but there is no smell. And the urine is just like a white kind of that sits usually. So his terrarium has this
Can't hear
kind
you.
of like, oh, sorry, the terrarium has this kind of things like wood chips. And yeah, and when he puts there, they just become white basically, and then you remove it. Yeah.
Well, that's pretty low maintenance compared to a lot of other pets.
Oh yeah, he's a very low maintenance. Yeah, if you think about it, you feed him once a week. It costs about £1.90, not even €2 for one mouse. So it's very cheap to buy the mice. You can even buy them in packs. So you feed him once a week. You clean, you can spot clean. Like if you see anything in the terrarium, you could remove it. Usually the poo and the urine. Um, whenever you see it. And I do a deep clean every 3 to 4 weeks. So I replace all of that wood chip for him. So he has like all the clean wood chip in there. And yeah, and that's it. You don't need to do anything else, and change his water every day. That's all really.
Yeah.
Yeah. And he's quite happy to be in his terrarium all day. You don't even have to get him out because, as I said, these guys are bred in captivity. So yeah.
Do you think he likes it when you pick him up and touch him? Do you think he likes the affection and attention?
I don't know actually. I know he doesn't like they don't like to be patted on the head. So I know that for a fact. But I don't know. I think they got used to it. I don't think it's very hard to like, like with all the pets, you grab them. Do they know how much they like it? But he's obviously very comfortable. As you've seen, he's just very chill. He's not scared or anything. He's just exploring behind me. Because when they get scared, he will have gone in a ball and hide himself. But you can tell he's a very happy boy by just sitting here on my neck now. Yeah.
Well, he definitely looks relaxed.
Yeah, yeah,
Um,
yeah.
does he react to noise? Like the
God,
vacuum?
no, he doesn't care.
Doesn't care.
No, no, nothing. And snakes, they don't have any ears, so they feel the noises through vibration through the bones when they move around them. But yeah, I can have the hoover on, I can have the music on. He does not care at all. So yeah.
Well, that's convenient.
Yeah, yeah, very convenient. Yeah.
So he never panics or what would you say is, are there any inconveniences aside from having to his very specific diet, which is required? Would you say there are any inconveniences to having a pet snake?
No, really. He's a very low maintenance. The only two things that I will address if you want to have a pet snake and you're comfortable feeding him frozen mice, obviously, because that's what they eat. You have to have that. You have to make sure that you're happy to pay the electric bill. What I have here on him on the terrarium is plugged in 24/7. He needs the heat.
Okay.
So you have to pay for that. The setup is expensive. Things like even he has to have like pieces of wood like this in there, and his terrarium is full of it. And these things cost a lot of money, so you can spend like a fortune to buy them. The whole setup actually could be quite expensive. Once you buy that, it's very easy to maintain. As I said, is the field that you have to be aware of. And also, when you go on holiday, you need to have a pet sitter who is happy to change his water, because that's all they need to do when you're away. They just need fresh water every day, like all animals do. And also to have a vet that will, because these guys do get sick. So it would be good to have a vet that can look after them. But yeah.
So you can't just put them in a cardboard box with a little blankie and call that home. Got it.
Yeah. Yeah.
But well, that's very useful to know, because it's not a casual thing. We can adopt a dog or a cat can sometimes, they can survive. You don't even keep them in the box, but they're happy to have the little blanket. And
yes, exactly. Yeah.
But obviously very different animals, very different needs and different desires.
Yeah.
So talking about the vet, is it hard to find a vet who will see a snake, or is it a normal part of their?
I'll talk about the UK. It was really easy to find. You just need to find an exotic vet. I don't think it's a problem. You just need to ask the question. A lot of vets will see cats and dogs and bunnies, but just ask and find that exotic vet. It's not that he needs like cats and dogs and any medication and flea and worm and all of that. You don't need this. But if in case something happens and they get sick like everybody, it's good to have a vet. And also have him insured as well, because he's an exotic. Anything they get, it costs a lot of money. So he is insured with my cockatiel patches, so like on a dual exotic insurance. So touch wood, they get something, at least there is some coverage for them as well. But it shouldn't be too hard. You just need to ask the question.
Yeah. Okay. But it's good to know that you can ask the question, that's it's available. It didn't even occur to me. But that makes me wonder, or ask the question, do you need a special permit to have an exotic pet by this?
No for Jakey, because he's not venomous. He's a normal pet that you can have, and he's It's actually considered to be like the very easy pet to look after, very easy snake to look after. So not for Jakey. No, you don't need any permit for that.
Because he's actually bred for that, actually.
Yeah, he's bred for that. Yeah, yeah. He's bred in captivity. You can only get these guys from breeding in captivity. You can just, go to the wild and find them. So yeah. So behind me. Yeah.
So do you actually recommend having a snake as a pet? Would you recommend it to people who are interested?
If you're interested and you're okay to have the initial expense, we will cost you between, I'll put in euros, maybe 300, 400 euros. You're happy to pay the electric bill, you can have a pet snake. I mean, they're fascinating, they're amazing, they're easy to handle, like there's such a low maintenance, and yeah, I love him so much. So yeah, he's even though as I said, I never had a pet snake in my life, I had to learn everything. He's just so adorable. So yeah, he's so easy to fall in love with these guys.
Oh, that's really nice to hear. It's not something I expected to hear. I mean, you said, obviously you like them. You said they're lovely, but falling in love with a snake, that's
he has a really gorgeous little face. He's very adorable. Yeah.
The snake is one of the 12 animals of the Chinese zodiac. So I figured there are qualities of the snake which ostensibly would represent 1/12 of the entire population, about, so what qualities do you think are the most attractive that could translate to like what that a human could emulate?
Qualities of the snake. There's so many really. I would say that just like, for me, they're just so beautiful. They have all these different colors and forms, and maybe it doesn't really answer your question exactly, but because the fact they can be so majestic and so calm, and they have this calmness around them, I think that would be for me the best, qualities for them. Because everybody scares of them and they see them as a threat or anything, but they're just so calm. Their nature is so calm. I think it's very, for me, the most important for the snakes.
So do you find his presence calming, soothing, because he's so calm?
Yeah, everybody finds that. So people who've met Jakey, and people again like me, all my friends never seen a snake, so they met Jakey just by watching him. The way he crawls, the comment will sit with you, has this calming presence. You can just watch him for hours because he's just so calming, the effect he has, and his just presence is just so, I don't know, it's just so beautiful. It's just so different to any other animal. You can just watch them and like crawling slowly, watching you. They're flicking the little fork tongue out, because that's how they get the senses, the smell. So the nostrils are for breathing, while the senses of the smell that come from the little fork tongue instead. So it's quite nice to see that.
Yes. So it sounds like just having a snake in your presence is it's like a visual meditation.
Pretty much, yeah.
What we call a yantra.
Yeah.
It's interesting. I didn't expect you to say that, but I find that very interesting. And
you can see how calm he is, like having a pet that's so calm. He makes no noise, there's no smell. Unlike all the other animals. Not that all animals are great, but he's just so like, I think he has that effect. And everybody told me that met Jakey, that feels him like that. I don't know if you can see his little tongue sticking out.
Yes, I can.
Yeah. He's a very handsome boy. Yeah.
He is handsome. And last question. Aside from the fact that Jake rhymes with snake, are any other reasons why you named him Jake? And I know there are, so that's why I'm asking you.
Yeah. He came to me with that name. He was named actually from an MMA fighter called also Jake, and he used to turn up on his fight with a big royal python on him. So he was named after an MMA fighter. Yeah. So yeah, that's how he got his name.
Yes. Well, it's a great name.
He got me top now as well. He's like, yeah.
Well, he's absolutely beautiful. I've learned a lot. He's even that much more beautiful, handsome to me. Is there anything else you would like us to know about living with a snake, having the snake as a pet? Anything else you would like us to know?
No, really. As I said, they're really easy to look after, and make sure, if you get one, to give them the proper care.
Right.
And Jakey also is came with me a few times to the gym, to the studio, where everybody either loved him or they had to run out. And sometimes I found a company that makes hats for snakes. So he has 2 hats that we wear sometimes. It's a little cowboy hat, and this is his little gentleman hat. And he's so clever because you see, he doesn't like them, so I have to tape them on him. But he also knows how to flip them off, so you can see he doesn't like it.
Right.
Yeah,
Yes,
yeah,
we
yeah.
won't make them.
No, yeah, he doesn't. Yeah, they don't like, as general rule, arrowable pythons to have like pads on the head, so they don't like them.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah,
that's all right. It's
yeah,
understandable.
yeah.
Well, this has been fascinating and fun, Sophie. Thank you so much
No,
for
thank you.
for your time and your generosity, and for sharing Jake with us. He's very handsome, and it's been a real pleasure to see him with you and to hear all about him.
Thank you so much, and it's good to have this discussion because snakes deserve to get some good PR. They're really misunderstood creatures. So yeah, yeah.
Yes.
Well,
Well,
thank you, Jane.
my pleasure. Thank you again.
Thank you. All the best from the UK. Bye from us.
Bye. Thank
Bye.
you.
Thanks. Bye.
Bye, Jake.